Alright, let's do this. Welcome, game developers, to Doug Teaches Ue5. Yes. So let's get started with adding AI to our NPC. Now, the first bit that we're going to do, the AI is excuse me. The AI is going to do is just going to move randomly, but we're going to be using a behavioral tree. And don't worry, we're by the end we will have a selector that actually tells the AI which path to move on, whether it be random, via point to point, or follow the player around like an idiot, or something else that you want to do. I'll show the groundwork for that. Anyway, so the first thing we need to do is we need to right click here. We need to go into our AI, the artificial intelligence, and my mouse is being a jerk. I might do something with an EQS. Heavy on the might, because EQSs can really lag out your system depending on how many points that you put in. Anyway, so we need a behavioral tree and we need a blackboard. So I'm going to type in I'm going to grab behavioral tree. I'm just going to call this NPC tree, and another one NPC BB. NPC BB. Now we need an AI controller. So for here we have to go to blueprint classes. If you don't have this drop down like I did, just go to all classes, this little triangle, click it, and the drop down will show up. We need AI controller. Move this up, and my mouse is being a jerk again because of course it is. Hit select NPC controller. Now in our controller, we double click into our controller. We go to our event graph. On event begin play, we drag that out. We just type in run behavioral tree. And the behavioral tree we want to run is NPC tree. You could promote this to a variable and then set it, but yeah. So in Joan Dude, so in our NPC, in my case, we called it Joan Dude. I'm going to go to class defaults. Under AI controller, for you, it'll say AI controller. I don't know why mine is saying none, but whatever. So I'm just going to click on this drop down. I'm just going to type in NPC and then get our NPC controller. Okay, what now? Now, what we want to do is compile, because we're basically done here. We want to go into our BB. Technically speaking, we don't necessarily need to do anything here, but like I'll just do it. We're gonna add a key. To do that, we just add a key. I'm gonna get a vector, and I'll just say rando vec, and we're just gonna set this and then move to it. And we double click on our NPC tree. By default, okay, so if it says none. If it says none, by default, there shouldn't be it'll grab the first blackboard it sees. So if you want to change the blackboard, you go to behavior tree, and then you'll see the blackboard asset, or the blackboard asset. It shows mine automatically, so take from that what you will, because if you're going to have multiple behavioral trees with multiple blackboard elements, blackboard keys, then yeah. It'll get confused, so here's where you have to set it. Now in our root, right now, eventually we will have a selector, but right now what we're going to use is just sequence. Sequence is what you need to sequence is what you need to use whenever you need to execute any form of blackboardness. So for that to work, we need a blueprint task. Now by default, there are some blueprint tasks that we can have, like there is a move to that we will use, and a wait key. But I'll show you how to use a blueprint task right now. Blueprint task node. So under here where you see new task, we click on that, and it'll say BTT, etc., and you could save it to whichever folder. I'm going to keep it in NPCs because we will have multiple NPCs that use the same behavioral tree, etc. So In here, I'm just going to say BTT set rando. Hey. Rando path. Okay. So we're gonna need to. So all blueprint tests. I mean all of them. They have to have an event receive execute and a finish execute, whether or not they succeed, etc., etc. Yeah. So first things first. What we'll need to do is we'll need to right click and we say receive. You know what? Just type in execute AI. Event receive execute AI. Now under controlled pawn, because actually that won't matter much. Well, we'll need to use a controlled pawn. Because, like, here's the thing. If you need to use specific classes, right, you just drag this out and you say cast to NPC, or, I called it Joan Dude, so I'll just type in Joan Dude, and it'll cast to that because that's being a controlled pawn, as that's using the behavioral tree, or whatever, because it's a pawn, because it's a character. So, what we can do instead of just casting to it, and then if the cast failed, we can literally just drag this out, and we can say get actor location. Okay. And then what we can do is we can drag this out. We can, God, why is my brain derping out? Get random point in navigable radius. And the origin will be itself. The radius, we can just say, I don't know, like 1500. And then what we can do is we can set our rando vector that we have in our blackboard. So how do we do that? And there are several things we can do. We can make a variable and then set it, and then we can make a variable in here, make it public, and then set that. Or what we can do, it's a little more tedious, but we can literally type in get blackboard, and the target will be the controlled pawn. And then what we can do is we can set value as vector. On the key name, we can make the literal name and stuff like that. So what we do is we take this random location, plug it into here. Under key name, we drag this out. We want to type in make literal name. Make literal name? Yeah. Because now we can literally paste in the variable name. In our case, it's randovect. So I'm just going to grab it, Control-C copy in our blackboard, then go here, and then Control-V paste, and then plug this in, and then we drag this out. We type in finish, not finish abort, finish execute. And we want to make sure this is checked, or else if it's not checked, the blackboard, the behavioral tree will not run the next commands. So we compile this, we're done here. Make sure you save all, so that way we don't lose anything in case Unreal decides to be a jerk and crashes. So in our sequence, we want to say, what did I call it? I'll just drag this out, and we can go to our list. You can literally hunt for your list of tasks, and you can see the tasks that we have from place down to move to. And then, but instead, I'm just going to type in our search, we're going to type in BTT rando path. So that way, now that our rando vect is set, we can drag this out. I'm going to type in move to. That's, again, one of the default tasks that come with Unreal Engine. So now it's going to ask, where are we going? So in our thing, right? It's going to be asking what key do we want to move it to. No. There is one. Trying to remember. Move to. Oh, right, no. Right here, where it says self actor. We want to click on this, and we want to say Randovec. What's self actor? Move to yourself. It can do that? Mm-hmm. Is that good? Sometimes it'll work, but that's a real niche thing. So now what we want to do is we need a third task. We don't want it to constantly move around. So let's give it a let's use another blueprint task, and that blueprint task is wait. What does wait do? Exactly that. It literally waits. I'll just instead of variable time, by default it's 5 seconds before it moves again. So I'm just gonna type in instead 2 with a random variance of 1. So it'll move anytime between 1 and 2 seconds. We save this down. We go back to our map, and I believe is this simulate? Yeah. So I'm gonna hit F to zoom in and sit. Oh, look at that. Now she's going. Now she stops. Now she moves to another location. And she moves to another location, another random location within our navigable radius. Ah, cool. Yeah. So what'll happen next week? Not next week, 2 weeks, because alright, the 40K one. Yeah. Because I still have to do character customization with that nonsense. So 2 weeks from now, what we'll do is instead of having a random location, it'll move between different spots, different specified spots. And we can hard code them, and we're gonna have to hard code them. So that means what we'll do is not only will hold on, let me try to English again. Not only will we still have this, but now we're going to have to deal with using a selector. So that means it's going to have to choose between 1 and 2. And then we'll go on from there. In any case, that being said, end it here, narrator. And there you have it, game developers. Tune in 2 weeks for Mad Hat. Doug teaches, not Mad Hat teaches. Thank you. Ue5. Yes. Boop.